I love a good tote bag, but I just plain don't have any more room to store any of them. Hello, I'm Allie, the literary sewist. In this video, I am going to walk you through the step-by-step process of how to make a tote bag with a wide bottom and a drawstring. Then we can go make all the tote bags and they'll be folded up nice and easy to store. Before we get started, these width and height measurements are completely subjective to whatever size you want or need. I'm listing the measurements so that you have them for reference.
You will need 1 cut of the main fabric with interfacing, 2 cuts of the lining fabric with interfacing, 2 straps fabric with interfacing, 2 cuts of drawstring casing fabric, 2 cuts of the lining rim fabric plus interfacing, and 2 times cording or shoestring. Apply the interfacing to the entire back of the main and lining fabrics. Adhere using the manufacturer's instructions. For the straps, only interface the center about half the width of your fabric. Fold the uninterfaced edges toward the center and press. Fold in half and press again, enclosing the raw edges. The interfacing on the lining rim fabric should be 1/4 inch smaller on all sides. Fold the main fabric in half lengthwise and press. Three inches from the bottom, fold up toward the top and press. Clip or pin the sides. Lay the drawstring casing pieces right sides together. Mark 1.5 inches from the top edge. You will sew the seam below this mark only. Lay the lining pieces down right sides together. At the bottom edge, mark a 3-inch square on both sides. Cut the squares out of both layers and clip or pin in place together. Place the lining rim pieces right sides together. Clip or pin the short ends. With a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew both sides of the main fabric. On the drawstring pieces, sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance below the mark you made earlier. Above the mark, fold the seam allowance over and top stitch with a zigzag stitch. Sew each side separately or it won't fold correctly in the next step. Fold the top edge over by 1/4 inch, then clip or pin in place. Top stitch each fold with a zigzag stitch. Fold the top edge over so that it lines up at the seam mark. Adjust the edge evenly all the way around. Top stitch down with a zigzag stitch, backstitching over the seams to reinforce them. Top stitch the seams open with a zigzag stitch. On the lining piece, sew both sides and the bottom with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. At the corners, open the lining to align the seams. Clip or pin across the raw edge. Sew both corners with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I missed it in filming, but you will also sew the short ends of the lining rim, then press the seams open so they lay flat. Top stitch both sides of your straps. Insert the drawstring piece into the lining with the wrong side of the drawstring to the right side of the lining. Start by lining up the seams. Everything should lay flush together. Insert the rim piece on top of the drawstring piece with the right sides together. Line up the seams first. Sew through all 3 layers with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Flip the rim piece and the seam allowance up away from the lining, then top stitch as close to the seam as possible. Fold the raw edge of the rim piece over to meet the raw edge of the seam allowance. Clip or pin in place. Align the straps up evenly on the outside of the main fabric. Baste the straps in place. Fold the top edge of the main fabric inside by 1/2 inch. Insert the lining into the main, lining up the seams. Clip the folded edge of the main to the folded edge of the rim. Top stitch as close to the edge as possible. Insert your drawstring into the top casing with each piece tying at opposite ends.
Because you can make these for any size that you want, they make the perfect accessory and the perfect gift bag. I'd love to see all of the tote bags that you make, so please be sure to tag me in your photos so that I can see you on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you happen to be sharing your photos. And since you're still here, why don't you go watch some more of my tote bag tutorials, and I'll see you next time.
Before you hop away, drop down to the video description to sign up for my newsletter and receive this frog coin pouch pattern for free.